Go.
Good morning. Today we're doing an oil change and rotate on my 2004 Toyota Tundra. This applies to a lot of different vehicles, however, so it is kind of a universal video. We're gonna first check our wipers here. Make sure they're all good. That one's good. Gotta check for any tears in them. Okay. We're gonna pop our oil cap off so that way we know not to drive off. And a lot of short driving will get you that. It'll look like a milkshake. Check our oil too, because you want to see how you can gauge if you're burning oil or not. And it's about 3,000 miles, and she's right there. Good. Our steering's good. You could normally check your air filter by taking a box apart, but I have a K&N. Mine's fine. You are supposed to check your lights as well. I already know they're good, so I'm not going to bother. Check the battery as well. This is a Snap-on tester, but you imagine you can get them pretty cheap elsewhere. Why isn't it turning on? World's crappiest. Oh, there we go. Oh, battery, vehicle, 6 volt, regular, CCA. We have a 650 CCA battery, so we're going to turn that down. And my battery's good. It's got 75%. Anything below 70 and the battery's going to start to get bad. And probably notice issues with starting. Let's see. Coolant. Check our coolant here. Use this little guy to dip it into the coolant jug. And you can get these. Cheryl, how cheaply could you say you could get one of these temperature checkers? Mine's at -37, by the way, for coolant.
Oh, I mean, you could probably get one for like 15 to 30 bucks.
Yeah, about $15, $30.
Depends on where you look.
Let's see here. I got my wipers. I got my oil. I already checked my filter. I would top off my windshield washer fluid, but that's already pretty full and it has a little bit of a leak, so I don't want to overfill it and spill it all over the ground. And with most pickup trucks, you're going to have a body on frame, so you're going to want to put your lift arms underneath the frame rather than the body of the vehicle, unlike a Ford Maverick, which is just a unibody.
For example,
Alright, now we got the vehicle in the air. We're going to start from our front to back for our inspection. You want to just grab a hold of things that are supposed to move, oscillate, feel anything, tie rods, sway bar end links. This is new, so I'm checking to make sure it's not leaking. It helps to have a flashlight too when you're looking. I have a very slow oil leak, so nothing to be too concerned about. I have a bad manifold, but that's normal with these trucks. The appears to be all okay, in working order. We'll just keep moving back. Make sure your exhaust isn't rusted out or anything. My frame is though, but we boxed it, so that's okay. We'll make our way back. Checking everything as we go. Shocks look okay. And it's okay if they got a little bit of rubbing on here from the dust cover. Otherwise, everything looks good, so let's get to draining the oil. Alright, now that we got our oil draining, with these Toyota pickups, they have a front cover, or a skid plate rather, you gotta take off to get to your oil filter that's up behind there. So while that's draining, I'm gonna focus on getting that off. Alright, now I got this cover off. There's our oil filter. You're gonna want to take a wrench, kinda like this. Got a little bit of water on the camera, just trying to keep it clean, and then it'll fit onto there and loosen it like that. Alright, now that we got the old filter off, put the new one on, and it's important to put oil on the O-ring. The O-ring that goes on the outside, and make sure it comes off with the old oil filter, otherwise you'll double gasket it and leak oil everywhere. And it's important to oil it, otherwise it'll never come off in the future. Well, at least be very difficult. And it's important, only hand tight, no tools. Alright, we got that back on. It's important to only put them in hand tight. or at least a little bit, and not tighten them down. Otherwise, it'll be very hard to loosen or put them all back in together. Now we're going to rotate our tires. Since this is a rear-wheel drive main vehicle, even though it has four-wheel drive, it uses the rear wheels primarily. So we're going to put the most tread in the rear. Now the rear does have the best tread, so we're just going to do a side-to-side rotate to keep the best tread in the rear. And then once I get them off, I'll show you how to check your brakes. Alright, now that we got our tires off here, we're going to check our front brakes. Now I know I just put new brakes on here not too long ago. We got a brake checker here. And more than 8 millimeter. That's a 12. Where's my 10? There we go.
Hey, Owen, you know how I just cleaned out my
Those are good 10s.
Yeah, sorry, Robert.
10, 10. And we have drums in the rear, so we can't check those. But they typically last a long time, so it shouldn't be too much to worry about. Before we put these back on, we're going to take a wire wheel on a drill and clean up the inside and these mating surfaces. Because even though they'll rust like that again, it's important when you take them off so they'll seat right and they won't come off even if you torque them down. So we're going to get that done and put all our wheels back on. Alright, so we got all the wheels back on, and now it's important to note I tighten them down from here, 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 and just in a crisscross pattern so that way it seats evenly on there and it's all even around. And we only use the impact not to torque it down, because we'll actually take a torque wrench and torque these down in the same pattern so it's all correct. And it's worth noting, after about 50 miles you should go around all the way again and double check it to make sure it's correct. I doubt it won't be bad, or will be bad. Next, we're going to add our recommended amount of oil, which is 6.5 quarts. So I'm going to set the camera down while I do that so I don't spill. Alright, so I just double checked it. The oil was good. It took 6 quarts, which is weird. I thought it took 6.5, but I guess not. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to reprint our oil sticker and reset our oil life. This one doesn't necessarily have one. I just have trip B set to 0 every time I do an oil change, and then I go off of that and then reset it every time I do an oil change. And then of course I have the sticker in the window just in case that gets deleted.